Hey, everybody, I'm John Granado, and that's Lance Zerline. You can hear us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Hey, hit subscribe if you haven't yet so you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Lance, the narrative about James Click being too passive, right? That was one of the big reasons. Jim Crane wanted him to act more, to do more, be more aggressive. Well, what if Crane doesn't make any more moves this offseason? Have we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish not having Click here?
Well, you kept your bullpen in place. Your starting pitching was already strong. You added what appears to be a stronger bat with Abreu than over Yuli. And so supposedly a very good teammate. Tim Kirkjian couldn't stop talking about what a great teammate Jose Abreu is. So I think you've accomplished what you needed to accomplish. If you don't do anything else, I think what you've done is basically maintain status quo. And status quo means you have young catchers you're going to rely on, which is not unusual by the Astros standards to bring up young guys and have them perform. You're expecting Chas McCormick to continue to get better as a player, and we saw that inside the season last year. So it wouldn't be crazy if they didn't make any other moves. We've heard them linked to some different players, and I know there's conversations about them potentially having discussions with Arizona right now. But if they didn't do anything else, John, I'm okay with it. I'm not panicking about it. I think you take your strong team and you go in with the basically same strong team, maybe even a little upgrade.
I don't know. You think?
Well, not losing Justin Verlander.
No, you lost Justin Verlander.
But your lineup, I think your lineup upgraded.
Is a tad better, but you still don't have a DH. You still have that hole at catcher, and you don't know that Chas McCormick is going to take that next step. That would be three possible holes in the lineup. And then you got to play Yordan every day in left field, unless you think David Hensley is somebody that
see your Coors Light is half empty.
Yeah, well. Listen, I would not be. I would be a little disappointed if he doesn't make another move. I would be. I think he's got to do something. He's got to do more with the lineup. I mean, we've been talking about Benintendi and Contreras, and we've been talking about all of these big moves that are possibilities, and then nothing. Especially after you made the Abreu move with 3 years for a 35-year-old. I would say that no, I would be a little bit disappointed in this offseason if nothing else happened.
But isn't Abreu your big move?
Abreu is a really good move, but you need more.
I think it's going to be a smaller move. I do think something else will be done. I think it's going to be smaller, though. I think it'll be somebody who can compete for innings in the outfield. I do think they're going to do one more signing. I don't think it's going to be a big one. So the aggressiveness stuff, I think Abreu and Montero is as aggressive as they're going to be. And I didn't love the Montero signing just because it didn't feel like an Astros signing to give him that type of money, a reliever who's not even technically your closer. I liked what they did with Abreu. We'll see how that ends up going and by the second or third year of that deal. But I think what the Astros are doing is they're keeping themselves in a position. But I know a lot of Astros fans feel like, hey, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards because everyone else is moving forwards around you.
Right. How is your prostate moving?
I think fine.
Well, let's hear.
I don't want it to move, I don't think.
Well, no, you don't want. You certainly don't want it to expand. Here's Doc Manavis. If you're older and you think that you have a prostate issue, then it's time to come and see Dr. Michelle Manavis, isn't it?
Going in is the first step, just speaking to one of us. Most of the time we hear incomplete emptying, urinary frequency, erectile dysfunction. Speaking to me about how this has been affecting your life is really the first step to finding the care that you actually need.
If you think you have an enlarged prostate, one place to go, 975prostate.com. Christian Vasquez just signed with the Twins for $30 million. Rafael Montero signed with the Astros for $34.5 million. Which one you like better?
Well, who would have more appearances in a season? Ask yourself that. I don't know. I think that's the problem is, are you going to pay that much for Vasquez, who you're going to put on the field 50 times a game? I mean, Vasquez could have been your DH, though. That's my big problem with not signing Vasquez is I think Vasquez may not have wanted to even consider the Astros because he wants to be a full-time catcher. And with Martin Maldonado here, I don't think you can trust that Dusty's going to put you in a lineup 3 out of 5 games, 4 out of 5 games. That's not happening unless Dusty tells you directly it's going to happen, and then you just have to believe that that's going to happen. But it would have been nice to have Vasquez catch twice a week, and twice out of every 5 starts, the catcher, and then the other 2 times he would be a DH. I think that would have been awesome.
That would be awesome
to have him do that. But I think that more than likely Vasquez just really doubted that he was going to get the amount of at-bats and the amount of playing time that he would get on another team. And I think that's why he left. The Montero thing, the Astros, obviously, they didn't win a World Series. They won it in part because of a clutch hit, a ceiling, a hit that added an additional run for you because of Vasquez. But really it was the bullpen was historically good. And I understand the idea to want to keep that together. And right now, before you have to pay Kyle Tucker, before you have to pay Javier, before you have to pay Fromber, I guess their decision was, hey, let's go out and pay a little more than we usually would for this reliever to make sure that we keep this type of bullpen in place. My concern, John, is that, I think I know who Vasquez is, Christian Vasquez is. I don't necessarily know who Montero is going to be from year to year because that's the nature of the reliever.
Well, and that's been the nature of Montero's career anyway. He's had really one really, really good year, and that was last year, and I thought he faded a little bit at the end. I'm a little bit worried about that signing. Plus, I wanted Brian Abreu in the setup role, and I think he just moves up naturally into that closer role when that becomes available.
You did it for starting pitching. Why not do it for the bullpen?
And you were really, really strong. Actually, you're such a strength with that bullpen. With Stanek, you didn't even use him, and Abreu and Hunter Brown could maybe have been your 6th and 7th inning guy. I mean, so you're loaded there. Christian Vasquez, I thought, would have been a wonderful, wonderful signing here. And I'm just assuming that. Do you just assume that Yuli's coming back?
I don't make that assumption because I haven't heard anything. But I think if the Astros want him, he'll be back. My guess is he'll keep playing because I think he loves to play the game. I don't know that I'm going to assume. I think the Astros want to see what else is out there, and if they strike out on some of the other players,
it looks like
I think they'll go with Yuli as the backup
that looks
option.
like what's happening. But it would be just. I'm just assuming that he's going to be back, and I'm still thinking that there's a good shot that Uncle Mike comes back if they don't sign anybody else. So if that happened, I would be pleased with this. If they brought Uncle Mike back at, let's say, 8, and they brought Yuli back at 4 or 5, I would be thrilled with this offseason. I would.